Welcome to Coleman's 2015 Certified SBA 7A Loan Closer Training Week 5. Yes, I'm back, I understand. How did my substitute do last week, Lance?
You know, Joseph did an excellent job, Bob, and I think he's ready for more camera time.
All right, all right. I sense a coup on plotting to get the old man out. Let's see. First of all, Week 6 has been uploaded. So we're ready to rock and roll. Thank you for being patient on allowing us to reschedule for today. I know Lance, I was definitely gone, and Lance was on a plane. So that's good. You know how to ask questions now. Keep the questions coming. We appreciate it. I believe it makes it much more interactive for you, and I know Lance is more than willing to share his knowledge. And I like to play Stump the Professor.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, let's
Always
go.
Ready for that.
Let's go to the poll questions. In your SBA Express lending, how much of your Express portfolio involved refinancing this existing debt? I'm gone a week. I can't read my cue cards anymore. None, less than 25, 25 to 50, more than 50. Why do you want to know this, Lance?
Well, I think that Express lenders quite often forget that as long as you're not refinancing an existing SBA loan, you can look at refinancing other loans, and there's some real opportunities in growing your SBA Express portfolio by considering the possibility of refinancing existing debt.
57% none, 14% less than 25, and the balance are between 29. Excuse me, that does save. What did you do to me?
30% is 25.
Whatever. The balance is between 25 and 50%. My color coding is off. Anyway, so all of it's less than 50%, Lance.
Well, I think that is certainly something as an Express lender you need to consider as a possibility to build your portfolio. Good
tip. Do you charge your SBA borrowers the loan packaging fee on all your SBA loans? I would guess 100% are going to say yes. What are you trying to elicit?
I would hope so, Bob, but I have found in doing SBA loan reviews that quite often the banks are not charging that allowed packaging fee. And it can be a significant source. I did a model for a bank the other day just showing them what a $5 million SBA portfolio would look like, what it would look like at 10, and what it would look like at 20. And I was using a 1% average for packaging fees. And, you know, a $20 million portfolio creates $200,000 in packaging fee income for the bank. So, you know, I hope everybody's doing it. If not, you should be.
100% of our audience is righteous. They are. What should you charge for a $50,000 loan?
It's kind of tough because SBA in the SOP indicates that you can't charge a standard fee throughout the portfolio. I generally, now you can charge up to, in that case, up to, well, I mean, Bob, generally when I've built SBA lending departments, we tried to average the packaging fee somewhere around 1 to 1.5% of the loan amount. So on a $50,000 loan, we'd be looking at about a $500 to
yeah, I guess my question is, we don't want to go $2,500 on those loans, do we?
No. I think if you're especially if you're doing a $50,000 Express loan, $500 to $750 is reasonable. But it's important that there be, you can't, like I said, you can't charge a standard fee throughout the portfolio. And I've seen that too, Bob. I've seen people slap $2,500 on everything they do. You know, if you're doing a $200,000 loan and a $2 million loan, there should be a significant difference in the packaging fee.
And a $5 million loan, I certainly think it would be prudent to charge a $5,000 packaging fee if the work is required. And a $5 million loan, the work probably will be required. All you have to do is document it. You're not going to be criticized. It has to be reasonable in terms of the marketplace. But a $5 million loan is certainly significantly different than a $25,000 Express loan.
Bob, I don't think you'll get questioned at all if you charge $10,000 on a $5 million loan.
Yeah, just document it. There's nothing wrong with it. Document it. Number 3, on packaging fees for SBA loans, what do you typically charge? We talked about this. So you're saying you're saying a flat fee for all loans is imprudent?
The SBA SOP indicates that you're not supposed to charge a flat fee. So your fee should vary on SBA. In order to be compliant with SBA on these packaging fees, you need to have fees that vary based on the size of the loan. And it's kind of ironic, Bob, because SBA doesn't allow you to charge an origination fee,
Right.
which typically would be 1% of the loan, but you can call it a packaging fee and charge 1% of the loan, or 2%. If you want to.
It's a 50-50 split, Lance. 50% charge 1%, and 50% charge the flat fee. So.
Okay. And the one thing on the flat fee that I would encourage you is have variations based on the size and the complexity of the loan. If you've got a basic express loan, charge a basic flat fee. But if you've got a business acquisition loan that's larger, you need to charge a fee that is reflective of the complexity and the amount of work required.
That you're doing, that you are doing, absolutely. Number 4, when do you typically submit the form SBA? I can't even read, so. The effects of Mai Tai poisoning. When do you typically submit the SBA form 159?
And I asked this question, Bob, because it's not really a change, but a clarification of when you're supposed to submit the SBA form 159.
50% do it with the loan application, 50% do it with the first 1502 report.
Technically, you're okay both places, but when you look at the SOP, Bob, it says to send it in with that first 1502.
But if you send it in with the loan application, don't lose any sleep.
Yeah, I wouldn't lose any sleep, but the SOP does indicate that you're supposed to have those sent in with the first 1502.
And the reason why is, do you know?
Well, SBA, part of the reason SBA requires those at that point is they're taking a much harder, it's a required form, but they're taking a much harder look at referral agents and people that are getting fees from SBA loans, and they're asking for that information at specific times so they can build a database to start taking a look.
And that's what the reason is. They want to track loan broker performance, and if you have a rogue loan broker who all of a sudden has a number of charge-offs, this is how they're going to track it. So that is the reasoning why they're doing it.
I want to share with our group a brief story. I was reviewing an SBA loan the other day. It was a $5 million loan. And I wish this would have been my poll question. In reviewing the $5 million loan, it was found that a loan broker charged a $100,000 fee and was paid.
By the bank?
Yes.
Ooh.
Now, is that legal? Yes, it is if you charge the bank. No, it's not if you charge the borrower. Is that an appropriate fee? Absolutely not.
Yes, no matter what the documentation is. And I suspect right off the bat that's going to be disallowed, so you're going to have a minimum $100,000 repair, I would assume.
Bob, I just want you to know I would package loans very frequently at $100,000 per loan.
Nice work if you can get it. Question number 5. When completing the SBA Form 1919, A, we let the borrower complete this form and sign it. B, we complete the form for them. We let a third party complete the form. Who needs a 1919? We don't need no stinking 1919.
I think I asked this question, Bob, just to bring up the topic and the idea. The 1919 is such a critically important form in the eligibility of an SBA loan. And I have a preferred answer in this group, and it's certainly not we don't need a 1919. But, either one or two is a good answer, but my preference is to complete the Form 1919 with my borrower in the office so there's some interaction and you're able to find out the key answers to those eligibility questions, and you don't really get caught off guard 3 years later when a purchase package goes in.
And let's see, we got 20% of the class does it with the borrower. I would agree with you also, especially when there are instances there may be language barriers. I think it would be prudent to have someone sit down with the borrower and explain what they are answering as opposed to check, 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 check.
Well, and Bob, one of the keys here, we are taking a class, learning more about SBA closing. You know, we're getting ready to start next week a loan certification course in servicing, and we do them in underwriting and liquidation and other topics. But SBA is challenging even for very smart people working in the finance field like this closer group that's on the phone with us today. Your borrower will read some of those questions and not understand. So it's certainly, I mean, both 1 and 2 are correct and fine.
Yes, make that very clear. One is fine. One is fine. However,
but the preferred way to do it is in your office with the borrower with some back and forth and explanation of what they're answering.
Lance, do you have a problem if the business development officer sits down with the borrower and helps them fill it out?
Again, not really. But the preference would be the actual loan officer handling the loan.
The underwriter.
Yeah, the underwriter.
Okay. Very good. I believe we have a question. Oh, no, we have a week 5 recap. What's the takeaway, Lance?
Well, I think we just wanted to get familiar with various SBA loan forms and talk about the SBA Express program. And some of my questions were loaded toward Express lending. And we do have, I think we asked the question in a previous week, how many were Express lenders, and it's about 50-50. SBA Express lending is a way for you to deliver exceptional customer service to your SBA borrowing customers. You can do things in a more timely basis, the smaller things. Bob, when I was building SBA lending departments, if I did a 7A loan for the real estate and equipment for $2 million, almost always piggyback that with a working capital SBA Express loan. So use the SBA Express program to build your SBA portfolio. It's another tool in your belt.
And it's an excellent way to take care of your borrower, to take care of that.
Absolutely. And if you have that borrower that walks in the door that needs the money by Friday, SBA and Express is a way you can deliver that.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll be a little bit more proactive. What are we doing in week 6? Oh, email question number 1. Is there an affiliation when there are 2 different limited liability corporations with different names but the same owner? In one training session, it was mentioned that the fees are limited. I'm sorry. Is that one question? Go ahead.
Well, to answer the first question, common ownership creates the affiliation. So absolutely, there is an affiliation between 2 LLCs with the same owners.
In one of the training sessions, it was mentioned that the fees are limited to 2% for loans between $50,000 and $1 million. On a $1 million loan, can I charge a $20,000 packaging fee? I probably wouldn't do it, but I just want to know if I can.
And the answer to that question is yes, you can. And again, you probably wouldn't, but you could. According to the SBA SOP, you could.
However,
we talked about that earlier. You know, a $20,000 packaging fee for a $1 million loan, it's really hard to support the level of complexity and work. There could be, Bob, some $1 million loans that are so complex and so difficult that you could justify that. You know, I'm more comfortable with something between, say, $5,000 and $10,000.
Well, and you have to document it. You have an hourly rate. You have to document it. Now, if you have a simple transaction, that's not going to fly. But if for I was going to say, for some reason you have 5 affiliations and 7 guarantors and limited guarantors and this and that may be a different story.
Yeah, like I said, can you? Yes. Should you? Probably not.
No, very good. What's going to happen in week 6? That was uploaded today.
Well, we're going to talk about collateral and citizenship issues. We'll talk about franchises, and we'll get deeper into affiliation. Probably one of my favorite topics, and one that so many banks mess up on their SBA loans, is the 4506T, but just talking about how critically important that is. And also insurance coverages. One tidbit that I would throw out there on insurance coverages: you get your SBA authorization back, and it'll ask for property and casualty insurance. It'll ask for liability insurance. It typically will ask for life insurance. The one component of insurance that is always adjustable or could be adjustable after the fact is life insurance. At the Commercial Loan Servicing Center, Bob, we get $2 million SBA loans with a $2 million policy required on a guy my age. And a $2 million policy on a guy my age is pretty expensive. So we waived or lessened the life insurance requirement all the time at the center because of excessive costs. So
Yeah, there's nothing
we're just
wrong.
going to talk about. I'm sorry.
And there's nothing wrong with saying, yeah, for an old man like you, fine. We want to have a little bit of mitigation exposure, so maybe we go 10%. Maybe we go $250,000, and that's pretty.
Well, I had a fun question asked this week, Bob, by a bank that I have a liquidation case for. There was a 78-year-old borrower, and there was a life insurance requirement, and the borrower, once the loan defaulted, as you can expect, quit paying the life insurance premiums, and they asked me if they should force place. And I wish everybody had their mics on, because I would say, hey guys, would it be a prudent lending decision to force place that? And the answer is yes.
Very good. Reading materials. Go back to reading materials, Joseph.
Well, there's some good articles that talk about franchises, affiliation. I think it's important to understand the concept of affiliation and how a franchise business impacts that. So there's a lot of good information there, and also a good article about verifying tax transcripts and the 4506T. The one challenge that I get when I review loans prior to going into liquidation, it seems like there's always a 4506T problem, Bob. The closers, they have an opportunity to do something about that. So this is a great week for us.
Yeah, in 4506, absolutely. Well, very good. Are we clear, Joseph? We're clear. Thank you for allowing Lance and I to postpone office hours for a day, one business day, and we'll see you all on Friday. Enjoy the week.
We'll see you Friday. Have a great week.